Well, class, here we are for environmental science, talking about the review for the final exam. Okay, we're also reviewing for the air pollution quiz that's coming up. Okay, so reviewing air pollution, first of all, note I have loaded the answer keys for the last 4 assignments. So I don't think I need to click through all of them, but you'll see they're there. We have the answers. If you have any questions, please contact me and we'll talk about where we're stuck. Okay. But the big thing going forward is the self-assessment. Okay. So this, you're going to come in and you're going to, first of all, skip the first one. We did not do graduated cylinders and rulers because of the COVID response. So when you see something, you're like, oh, yeah, this is true. I have a lot of questions. I don't even know what to ask. Okay. But what happens if we have something that you do have a specific question? Well, it'd be nice if you just wrote it right here. Okay. Okay. And then when you turn it in, I'll be able to see it and I will make sure my next set of instructions cover that specific task. Okay. So you're going to go through and, like I said, just mark each one of these terms as it goes. Okay. You can mark it however you see fit. All right. So that was the self-assessment, which is going to be important for you to track your study through this weekend. Okay. And I also want to talk about why we're trying to do these pieces. So we're looking at the test grade defense. This is what we're going to be doing after the final exam. Even if you transfer out of this class, I'm still going to give you an opportunity to do grade defense and to email me your information. Okay. So what we're trying to do is show multiple opportunities to demonstrate mastery, and this being the last of them. Okay. So think of how we're going to be sitting in a week or two from now looking back. You're going to look at your old quizzes and see what questions you've missed. And hopefully right now you're studying those missed questions and you're ready for them to be on the final exam. Okay. So this is an example from last year. Okay. On the final exam, a student got this question right. And on the first quiz, they got this question wrong. Well, they both cover the metric standard. Now, they ask the question in a different format, but the standard, the multiple opportunities to demonstrate mastery of the standard is there, okay? And in fact, if you get this one right, you might be able to apply it to multiple different questions about the metric system on multiple tests. Okay, so the idea is you study all your tests and you try hard this weekend and you get your best and hopefully it applies back. Okay, so the easiest example is if you got 100% of the final exam, then you've demonstrated 100% of the standards have been mastered, and then I'll give you 100% on all the quizzes. Now, let's say you get 85% on the final exam. Then you're going to have to go through line by line and tell me which ones you have now mastered and need to add points back. Okay, we cannot do it backwards. You cannot get an old question right and then forget it and say you have demonstrated mastery. No, getting it wrong later as I add more sophisticated information does not mean you have still demonstrated mastery. You have to get it right on the final exam. Okay, but the final exam itself is only worth 10%, which means if you just don't show up, your grade is going to go down 10%. If you get everything right, your grade will go up for that twofold reason: the exam score and your grade defense. So it could really increase your grade if you do some studying this weekend. Okay, so we'll see some of the exam is going to be multiple choice. And then the other part of the exam is going to be a lab practical. Well, I will write up the data that a student had, and you will tell me, or you'll write up your lab for that student's data. Okay, so the multiple choice part was going to look a lot like all the old quizzes, and the practical is going to look a lot like the old labs, and that will cover all of our master tasks. Okay, all right. And when you do that, you just plug in the grade defense, by the way, you just plug in the pictures, old test, new test, look, they both covered the metric system, so I've mastered the metric system. Okay, there's your answer, nice 2 sentences. Okay, other thing worth repeating here is how you should be studying. You should ask other students for help right now and study with them on a regular basis before the final. Okay, you should write down everything that I put up onto paper so that it goes through your brain, and you should reorganize those notes later on so it's nice and clear and formatted. Okay, and then you've hopefully already done this. You've set up all your homework and you reviewed all of your other old homework and old quizzes later. Okay, especially with that answer key being posted now. Okay, then you ask your teacher for clarification questions, and you're going to come to Stormtime or to class with your questions ready. Then you'll look up the web tutorials for something you don't understand, or maybe go to Khan Academy. They'll have an environmental science page, and you can look up information there. Okay, make sure you have all your old tests collected and that you can access the questions on them. And if you don't understand what the right answer is, you contact me to find out those answers. Okay, so that takes us through the very basics of what we talked about today during Stormtime. Again, you should be spending the bulk of your time looking at these answer keys and doing the self-assessment. The quiz is now open and ready for those of you who want to start it before class, and that will give us all of class time to review for the final exam. Okay, and with that, wish you good luck on the quiz, and please come to class ready to ask questions for the final exam.